What's up, educators? It is your man, KC Mack.
And Andrea Caspari.
Jay Yoder.
And this is the brand new Teachers Off Duty podcast, the Board Teachers Comedy Tour Takeover. That's right. This is the podcast where every month you're going to get your funniest teacher comedians, and we're going to come through here. We're going to share our stories about things that happen in the classroom. We're going to share stories about things that's happening on the road.
Yep.
That's right.
Which we definitely got to talk about.
We do.
We definitely got to talk about.
In the Sprinter van, in the green room.
So much to talk about. And listen, if you have not yet to be a part of the Board Teachers Comedy Tour, then you need to get tickets. As a matter of fact, we have a list of cities that we will be in September. That's right. We're going to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Tucson, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, Anaheim, California, Saginaw, Michigan, Cincinnati, Ohio, Skokie, Illinois, Bloomington, Illinois, Riverside, Iowa, Northwood, Iowa, Rockford, Illinois, and St. Louis, Missouri. All that is going down in September. If you want to get your tickets, go ahead and click at that little subscription link right there in the description. Right there. It's there. You know where it's at. It's right there. It's there. Anyways, the topic of this episode is shocking stories of teachers quitting. So It's almost to say, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that if these teachers who we're about to read about, and again, remember, you can send your stories to the Teachers Off Duty podcast. And again, that is also in the description. Make sure you click that link if you want to send your stories in there. So I'm willing to say, talking about how you said laughter is the best medicine. I'm willing to bet that if these teachers actually got a chance to see the tour, actually got a chance to experience any of our comedy, that they probably would have hung in there a little bit longer.
That's what it's about. We need to release. We're like teak pots with no spout. You know what I mean? Like they're just, you need that valve, and we're that safety valve. Let's do it. Let's get out and laugh.
You have to get out. You need it. You need a night with your teacher besties.
That's my teapot.
That's your teapot. Your little teapot. What are we doing? Andrea's like, I'm short. Here is my handle.
Here's my little handle.
Let's kick off with a story, man. I got the first story.
Oh, let's hear it.
Again, shocking stories of teachers quitting. Okay?
Yeah.
First story reads, I quit in the middle of class after a student told me that she knew where my house was and that she was going to come and light it on fire with my children and I, while my children and I would be sleeping. Oh, hell no. I'm sorry. I ended up pressing charges against her. You sure should.
Yeah.
And the student, pressing charges against the student and suing the school for sending the kid back to my classroom with a bag of chips and Capri Suns after. Wow. Are you serious?
No.
I mean, have you had a Capri Sun?
I mean, that's still not a reward for that.
God, they're delicious, though. Okay, yeah, refreshing.
Sent her back, but that's we'll get into that. Sent her back with a Capri Sun. I sent her to the office for what she said. What kind of world are we living in that would allow children to speak to anyone like that, and let alone teachers? Let alone teachers.
I know.
I'm just sick of how we're so desensitized to this. Like, you hear this kind of stuff happen all the time. The snack, coming back with a snack, all of that nonsense. But the minute they mention my kids, the minute they threaten, they got to realize there are certain things. I don't care if you got to do that toothpaste on the paper plate first day, but you got to do something where you teach these kids, what I'm talking about, where they spray out the toothpaste. You tell the kids hey, put all the toothpaste on the plate, and then you're like, okay, now put it back in the tube. And they're like, how can we do that? You can't. There are certain things that you can't say because you can't take them back.
Yeah, you can't unsay it.
And we got to realize, whether it's fire in a movie theater, bomb on a plane, there are certain things you just can't do. And if we allow that to happen at any level, she did the right thing. I wouldn't have stayed in that class. I was like, who are you? You can't just say stuff. You can't be reckless.
Definitely needed to quit.
Yeah, for sure. But then I wonder, it sounds like her admin did not support her. And
shocker.
Yeah, shocker. So have you guys had issues with admin supporting you or not? Or any stories about that?
I worked several different schools. I've been hit and miss with that. I've had some schools that I really hated to depart from because I actually had good administrators. You know what I'm saying? Didn't really want to leave. But then I've had situations like that and like this, where the administrators have been totally non-supportive, and it's been, and it's definitely heartbreaking, especially because you're there for a reason. Nobody's just walks into a school building and is like, hey, I think I'm gonna try this out. I'm see y'all teaching it. We're there for a reason. Evidently, we have something to contribute. So we're there to be a part of this community, and so it's like to have the lack of support there you're kind of ripping these people off of something that they really wanted to be a part of, because otherwise they,
I've had great admin, so I haven't personally had a story like that, but there's just too many of these stories out there to know that, not every admin is bad, but there are a lot of bad apples out there. And I think, I don't know if it's just politics at some point. Like they're like, oh, that person's parent is on the school board or the superintendent.
Yeah.
And then when it gets it gets so intertwined that it's like you can't unravel it without creating a whole mess. And so there's collateral damage. And it's a shame that teachers have to be the collateral damage. Because like you said, we're not just saying, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we drove Uber? Yeah, that's a thing that's said.
Yeah.
But like, wouldn't it be fun if we're a teacher? No, there's a lot of training. There's a lot of hours. I mean, I knew since 6th grade I wanted to be a teacher. And that would break my heart if I felt like something like that had happened and I had to just stop doing what I thought I'd be doing my whole life.
Yeah, I know, because we're passionate about it, but I think sometimes they take advantage of that, knowing that we're passionate about it, and then they just keep pushing.
And definitely like this little girl. I mean, come on, you're going to tell. You gonna burn my house down?
So, guys, I have a story.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yes, I do. So, here we go. Back to school. I literally quit after the very first day back to school. I spent the summer getting my class ready, lesson planning up, and spending a total of $750 of my own money on classroom supplies and decor. Let's stop and chat really quickly. How much does that seem excessive? How much do you guys spend on your classrooms?
Don't ask me, because I'm not that guy. I won't. I just refuse to do that. Whatever stock comes in, I'll use what I have. But I know my wife, who's a teacher, same deal. She'll spend a little bit because they're on Pinterest. They want, sometimes some of those rooms look like Pinterest threw up all over the walls. You know what I mean?
I'm jealous.
I get it. Especially the elementary teachers. You're creating a vibe. You're creating an environment. We as teachers keep giving and giving, then it's expected. And I hate that it's getting to a place where, the teachers will defend themselves. If there's a teacher out there watching this that's spending, they're saying, well, I need to do this because it's for my kids.
Yeah.
We get it, but at what point does it stop?
I spend a lot.
Yeah.
For my decorum. I spend time walking upstairs to the library, printing off, because the library got that nice printer,
The one with the color.
and then I spend time walking downstairs to the copier room, and then laminating the pictures and posters, and then I spend time walking back to my classroom, and spend time hanging out. I'm not spending a dang dime. On no decorum and no decorations when we got a perfectly good copier machine and laminator.
I love
That's so smart. No, that's smart.
That's what I do.
Each of our counties in Pennsylvania have an intermediate unit, and there's tons of areas, but you have to be crafty.
Yeah.
I remember I lost at least 2 days just trying to make a simple poster because I couldn't color in the lines in kindergarten. I can't write a poster on the straight line now. So it's it's hard because you're either spending your own time or you're spending your money or both.
Or both. I think a lot of people are both. I am not that Pinterest threw up kind of gal. I'm just not. Sometimes I'll have other teachers come in there and they'll just help me with my bulletin boards and stuff because I don't have the vision. And a lot of times I just have piles of stuff. Imagine that, right? But I just have piles.
A hoarder.
I am a hoarder. I am a hoarder. I do. We have a lot of stuff.
Where everything is, right? That's what people Jeez,
no.
Never mind. I'm trying to bail you out here.
No, but I'm not like a cats in the freezer kind of hoarder.
Is that a saying?
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just came up with it. But it's not layers. It's layers. I don't know. But the kids just know. Just sit around it. Yeah. It's fine. But a lot of times, kids will just take it upon themselves and they help me and stuff. So that's cool.
I got my teacher hack. I wait till the first week of school and I make the kids in my homeroom decorate the class.
Ooh. That's smart.
Isn't that smart?
Yeah.
And it's giving them ownership.
I was going to say
ownership over the classroom, and really, it just saves me a lot of time because it would literally take me all day to do some of the stuff that some of the kids in that class could knock out. Team building, all right, collaboration, rigor, scaffolding. Throw it out there.
I love
doing it all.
You get all the points. Every bingo
Well, we
card.
did need to build scaffolding to get up to the top, but that's a different story.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I probably should do more with my classroom, but I don't have the vision, like I said, and I'm really short. So like all my bulletin boards are really, just yay high. Oh, it's so funny. I had to get a new whiteboard and they came in and they're like, where should I put it? And I was like, can you get it Caspari height? So I have the shortest whiteboard you've ever seen. They put it up just for me. Like I stood like this.
It's a height board.
It is
A height board.
but it's like waist level. It's good.
All right, so she spent all this money, and I got to know what happened. So what
Okay.
happened?
Yeah, no, there's more. So she spent the $750 on day one. No, you guys, I don't even know. You guys can't handle this, but I think you can. On day one, another teacher from the school took a different position, so I was moved to a different grade from sixth grade to first, sixth to first. That's not first to second. That's not sixth to seventh, y'all. And I was asked to hand over all my lesson plans that I spent my summer creating to the new sixth grade teacher they just hired and have all my lesson plans for first grade done the next day for the new class. You guys, they moved her overnight, and then she was expected to create new lesson plans that had taken her all summer to do the first ones that she owned. And then, she said, hard pass, bye, Felicia.
I've had this happen where I got a call like literally 6 days before and was like, hey, you're not going to teach this language. You're going to teach this other language. I was certified in them. So like, that's fair game. But like, that's why when teachers put all this extra time outside of the classroom, like it makes me, these moments have me protecting myself now because I'm like one day ahead of the kids sometimes because you don't know, they might call a last minute audible and we have to be flexible. We have to roll with the punches, but I don't know if I can roll with that punch. So she couldn't. So
she couldn't. She was out.
I'm totally discombobulated. First of all, I hope you kept your receipt of that $750 because you better take that back to Joann's or Hobby Lobby, wherever you got it from. First of all,
yeah.
Secondly, the fact that you think I'm about to just hand over my lesson plans that I created, probably bought off of Teachers Pay Teachers, and just give it to somebody, free, first of all,
all
and
that
not
time.
being reimbursed. Oh, no. And then have to create my own first grade?
Overnight, baby.
And she was probably conned into like leaving the stuff, like the decorations up, and it was like she spent all this time, and now the other teacher gets to roll in, and
I'm ripping everything off the wall.
Oh yeah, just rip it,
flipping desk over.
I love it. She just hulks through like
ripping up lesson plans.
Yeah, first day.
There's enough people out there that are hearing this and being like, oh yeah, I'll
be damned.
Yeah, you guys, if you want to write in or raise your hand, I know we can't see you. Especially, I love it. I'm saying this to the people listening in. That's great. Raise your hand. But I'm serious, guys. I bet this has happened more.
There's somebody right now listening, raising their hand.
Oh, I got one. I got hands on the wheel.
This is happening. We have had this happen to teachers. And one of the things that's most frustrating, they had us write the curriculum 3 different times in 5 years. And then they would kind of scrap it with 4 days. This happened several years ago. They scrapped what we wrote over the summer with 4 days to plan. And so my whole thing is it's all about communication. Like I'll do what you need to do, but I need like a heads up, So stop me before, transparency. Stop me before I start, right?
That's right.
And have some respect for the work that we do.
That's
Heck
right.
Yeah. All right, I got one here. It says, during my first year teaching, the boys in my class were so cruel to me for no reason. They even went as far as blackmailing me with photos of my face photoshopped on porn stars' bodies.
Oh.
Wow.
And if I didn't give them A's, they threatened to email them to our principal.
Okay, what?
I mean, they were so awful, and my admin sided with them and their parents when they accused me of making it up.
Oh.
I quit teaching completely the same semester and am still in therapy today trying to recover from the worst bullying experience of my life.
So sorry about that.
She still gets serious panic attacks if she's ever on a subway or a bus next to a group of teenagers.
You guys, this is a woman who had chosen to give her life's work to teens. And these kids bullied her and made it so that she gets panic attacks when she's around kiddos. Like, that sucks. Like, I cannot believe that the admin sided with a teacher.
I'll be real for a minute
not
here.
with the teacher. The admin sided with
I moved around a lot as a kid. And so, like, when I would get to a new school, I would try so hard to fit in. And in particular, when I was around middle school age, we were at a district where the kids were into like making our teacher cry. Like that was the goal.
That's so
and
terrible.
they were just so mean. And I remember that even though I wouldn't have instigated it, I know I laugh sometimes, or I know, and you can get you're at an age where they can get so caught up in that peer pressure that those, because like it's like such a weird thing. In the beginning, you're like show and tell as an elementary kid, and everybody wants to be unique.
Yeah.
Then you get to middle school, and it's like everybody's got to be the same.
Yeah.
Then you get to high school, and it's like, oh, separate yourself so you can get into a good college. Like there's such an emotional roller coaster that the kids are put on, and then you combine that with peer pressure because you see the things we talked about it earlier. The things some of these kids on YouTube, the Tide Pod Challenge, some of these YouTubers that are out there just going and wreaking havoc, and now they're getting tons of views and doing all this. We're creating a culture where it's okay for these kids to do whatever. They can push the big red button, and we'll send them back with a Capri Sun and a snack pack.
Yep.
It's got to be some sanctity for the big red button.
Yes.
He was always in that case in the like Inspector Gadget and like all those cartoons. You knew not to push. It was under glass. You had to lift the glass.
Right.
These kids are just letting it rip, and then we're having parents saying, "Oh, well, my little Landon would never do that."
Yeah, Landon did that.
Well, there's got to be evidence. Here's my thing. If I'm going CSI on this, if there are these Photoshop photos, they are somewhere. Even on Snapchat. Like those, they're not gone forever. They're stored somewhere.
First of all, I'm gonna say, look, I wouldn't. You know what? Try to fake Photoshop me on a porn star if you want to.
You're like, how did you do that?
First of all, I'm gonna say thank you. But then second of all, if it got real bad, I'm just gonna tell my principal. I'll say, look, that's not even my body.
He's like, these C's will get yays.
Thank you. Look at my body.
No.
Exactly. Look at this body. First of all, and I got a birthmark.
Oh, I love it.
In the shape of Mother Teresa, Calcutta.
So I don't know, man. You got to do better than that for me. Your story touched base on bullying. I'm just skimming through this story, and it's kind of like the same thing. It's I don't know, man. I know you kind of gave a little leeway to the kids and the pressure that they're on and stuff, and it's actual facts. What you said is definitely true. But at some point, accountability, especially for teenagers, it has to seep in at some point, because if not, you're about to be this is the future of our country. So these are the ones that we're about to actually navigate through society and expect, you know what I'm saying, as we get older. So it's we got to put the brakes on a lot of that, and hold these students accountable, you know, for a lot of the stuff that they're doing. But yours talk a little bit on bullying, and this one is kind of the same thing. Listen to this. It says, I have struggled with bullying my entire life from having a strong lisp. And it took a lot of therapy and self-confidence building throughout college to overcome my anxiety and childhood trauma from bullies at school. Now I'm an elementary teacher, and last year I was confronted by my worst nightmare. One of the students' fathers, who was one of the boys who used to bully me as a kid, and has not changed at all. Not only did he laugh at my face during the parent-teacher conferences, but he literally picked on me just like he did when we were younger.
Oh, my God.
Mocking me and cracking jokes. It's awful, and the mom would just sit there and laugh at him too. Of course, this spread to his son. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And the student also started snickering in class, making fun of my speech impediment. I reported it to my principal, and nothing. Turns out that the dad and him was old buddies, what did it say? He was old buddies and would just lie there and say, would lie and just say, I'm making it all up. It became so toxic to me that I couldn't even stand going back to school every day, so I quit.
Yeah, I would too.
It was too much to put myself through, especially.
You guys teaching these small towns? Just teaching like a small area?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty big metroplex, but yes, this definitely has to be.
Because that's what I mean. Like that's the thing.
You can't be. You're not lost in a town.
Yeah,
everybody knows everybody.
Yep.
Definitely has to be a small town.
Yeah,
but
I mean, at some point at the top, like we're talking about all these people at the top that are role models, like whether it's parents, teachers, the people that the kids are watching in entertainment. Like if we're not acting, if we're acting a fool, then it rolls downhill. And there's leaders in our country, there's people at all levels of entertainment that if we're not setting a standard for how people are being rewarded for acting a fool. That's how a lot of our culture is leading. And it's no surprise now that we're seeing it roll into here where the kids can't make sense of it. Because we have to be the ones that step in, and admin has to back up this teacher what happened to those days when like you got in trouble, and if you got in trouble and your parents found out, you got in trouble at home because your parents immediately sided with the teacher, and those days are gone.
That's such a good point. Right now, it's always little Landon. He gets a pass.
But these are serious. It's kind of hard. You can't make fun of this stuff like after like, so it's kind of, we kind of got to turn the comedy hat down on these, because it's like,
well, that's why I was saying this one's a little more serious, but that's okay.
Definitely.
Just because we're comedians doesn't mean that we don't have empathy.
Well, no, definitely so.
It's fine. They can see more sides than that.
Well, that's it. Well, even comedy, that's where it comes from. It comes from a place of truth. Right. You've then processed that,
right?
And now you take that, and comedy's what, tragedy plus time.
It is.
You know what I mean? So, but unfortunately, sometimes some of these things are so heinous, like that woman before, that now every time she's near a group of teenagers, like they just don't understand the power that they wield sometimes. And that's why I think like things like that toothpaste exercise that I know people have done before, that's huge, because like it's whatever we can do to break through to let them know that words matter, right? Hey, sticks and stones, right? I mean,
but I think now, unfortunately, the culture is everybody is very safe behind their keyboards.
Yeah.
And I think everyone thinks they're a keyboard warrior and they're untouchable. And I think that all sides are emboldened to say what they want. And that's why I don't even read my comments. And there are some that I would love to see, but I could read like 40 and they're like, "You're funny. That was a great show." And then somebody could be like, "Nah," whatever. And I'm like, "Ah." So, I mean, but everybody thinks that their opinion matters and everybody thinks they need to say it. And, sometimes you can just scroll on. You do not have to make fun, or you don't have to say something and we don't teach our kids that sometimes.
Definitely. And then when you talk about the comments, I find that I never have to defend myself in the comments. Anytime somebody says something sideways, these teachers, boy, they mess with Casey Mack.
Yeah.
They support. They'll get on them in a second. Yeah. And I don't have to defend myself.
Yeah.
My teacher friends, I don't even call them fans, my friends, they jump in there and attack any negative comment. So,
and where was the other kids in this class?
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? Like the other ones that like standing up or like hearing the teacher. That's what we need. We need other peers and people to be someone to be a witness and to be a hero and step up and say something. Like that's what a lot of the anti-bullying campaigns are. Like you don't have to be the one doing the bullying, but if you're there, you're complicit in that.
I agree.
And we need people to stand up. Because we can't stop some of those people from being who they are.
Yeah. Right.
But we can stop all of the others from standing by and just saying something, being like, "Yo, that's not cool, man." It doesn't have to be. We don't have to have a dramatic after-school special thing, but it's just be like, "Dude, that's not cool."
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
We grew up with after school specials. I think when they took the after school specials, that's why these kids are the way they are. They need to have those after school specials teaching morals.
They got to microdose them on TikTok. They got to put them out in like 30-second clips.
After school TikTok specials.
After school TikToks. That's good.
Doing no bullying challenges. Don't bully them.
Yeah.
And put a dance with it.
I love it.
That's how we'll get them.
No bullying.
The algorithm will love it.
Oh, I think I have one. My friends. Here we go. My teacher, who I'll call Mr. G, was a great teacher, maybe the best I've ever had. Until one day, a group of bullies in my class thought it would be funny to feed Flaming Hot Cheetos to his fish that he kept in the aquarium in the classroom that he loved. And he'd had them for years. First of all, you're wasting good Cheetos, so you're on my list right now. Second of all, why are you doing that to somebody? You know what I'm saying? Don't yuck somebody's yum. If somebody just loves these fish and they adore it, like, don't be a jerk. When he walked into the classroom and found them dead, he had a full meltdown. Yeah, no kidding, I would too. But this is a lot. He smashed the fish tank on the floor and threw a chair that took a freakish bounce and accidentally broke a girl's collarbone. Okay, this took a turn, but I'm still with him-ish. He walked out of school, and we never saw him again, and he might have been fired or he just quit. This is one of those, was he fired, did he quit?
So he has pet fish in a classroom.
Yes, let's
Somebody cracks up a bunch of Cheetos and puts them in as like it's fish food.
Yeah. Okay. Flaming hot.
Flaming hot. So they're now
flaming hot.
We can't find Nemo. Nemo's done. He's
Nemo's
dead.
done.
All his friends
Nemo's
gone.
done. Hot chips. Nemo.
He comes in and finds this, throws a fit, goes Hulk.
Yeah, I would have too. Hulk
smashes it, but then he throws the chair that ricochets and hits a bystander.
Yes, and now that's not okay.
Oh,
and it breaks her collarbone.
It breaks the student's collarbone.
Oh no, he's definitely fired. I don't know.
Yeah,
why is this even question?
Don't you feel for him?
Did he quit or was he get fired?
But
I feel for him up to that point. I mean, accidents happen.
Like you put all this, all that money into an aquarium, all that filtering stuff.
Yeah.
And now he comes in. You know what? I get it. I get where he's at, and that's why we as teachers we have to have that moment. You have to have that moment where you can you have to take another swallow. You have to swallow that pride even deeper than you think you can, because in that moment, he snapped, and we're all we can all be close to that moment, but
we do have to say no.
All right, so next one. Now this one's a little different because this story comes from a parent that all teachers will love.
All right.
Okay.
I'm not a teacher, but I am a mom of a son who has some issues managing his emotions. We spent 2.5 years working on it with his school and therapist.
Nice.
Had a safety plan in place, but we just couldn't keep him keeping his hands off of others and destroying the classroom. The final straw for me was when he put his hands on his teacher. I pulled him out of school that day. I'm a single mom who works full-time out from home, and my son now stays home every day with me and does online schooling.
Yeah.
I just want to say thanks and apologize to all educators who chose to go to work and deal with kids that can't control their emotions, and parents who are dismissive of their child's behavior being physically and verbally attacked and still try to help. I mean, how could you not love that?
Applaud this nice lady.
I just feel that because that's all we want. We want to know that there's you almost feel like you're in the Twilight Zone sometimes.
Yeah.
Why is this such a rarity? Why is this as a parent? And I speak as a parent. I know if my daughter was doing something, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, they want to protect. But if and some of these kids need a special environment or need a different environment, there are 28, 29, 30 other kids in a classroom, and it's sometimes one teacher. And that's and we need to realize that there's those 28, 29, 30 other kids, they deserve a healthy and safe environment.
Right.
Yep.
And kudos to her for even though being a single mom and looks like she had some ability to make it work, but I mean, there's just only so much. That's why they say it takes a village. There's only so much you can do, though,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I really applaud her because she was just like, you know what? This isn't going to work. I'm going to pull little Landon out, and we're going to school him in the right way. And I think that we need more parents like that. I always whenever I do parent-teacher conferences, I always love the parents who come. They turn the chair around, and they're just like, what did Billy do? If Billy's not good, here's my number, here's my email, here's my Facebook, here's my MySpace, here's my Friendster. Give me a call.
My favorite are the ones who are if you need to, you can totally.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I
no,
can't.
You're like, no,
I would love to. I appreciate the sentiment.
But you can.
My wife had a scenario where we were out at a restaurant and ran into a dad, and he was like, oh, I want to buy you a drink. He's like, I'm going to get you a shot, something that hit you as hard as I know you wanted to hit my son.
Oh, no.
And my wife's a sweetheart. She would, to her, she was just like, what?
Everclear?
And he was like, but I love the parents who have enough gall to know what it's like. And I appreciate
gasoline
that.
at this point. I need some strong, buddy. Diesel fluid, something.
I love it.
Jet fuel, just give me something.
She's like, make it a double.
A double jet fuel. For the lady.
No, she's a Long Island. When she orders Long Islands, I know it's been a long week.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, for sure.
That's hilarious.
Long Week Island.
Again, man, these are crazy, shocking stories of why teachers have quit, are quitting, are about to quit, whatever it is. These are some stories that have been sitting in. And this one, listen to this one, guys.
Oh, no.
A girl in my school tried to poison her math teacher by putting Germ-X in his drink.
Nope.
Do we even got to read any further?
I know. I'm like, I feel like.
I was like, the rage. I need that rage room, okay? We need that rage room.
That is the rage room. You get to go to the rage room with a bat and hit some stuff.
What?
And then you can throw all the chairs you want at fish tanks and nobody else will get hurt.
Yes, absolutely. It's just you in the rage room.
One of her friends who was in on the prank, and we're going to put prank in parentheses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more than prank.
Quotation marks, rather. Screamed the moment the teacher was about to drink it.
Ooh.
The girl was removed from his class, and the rest of the semester, the girl who tried to poison him was sent to an alternative school.
Okay.
And had to go to court for attempted murder charge.
Okay. Oh.
The math teacher was so disturbed by the incident that he took a sabbatical and never came back what goes through these kids' minds. You think it's funny to poison a teacher.
These are the same kids that do the Tide Pod challenge. Like, these are kids, like,
Oh,
they're
the
off
Tide Pods
their
on the
rock.
pizza thing?
Well, just like
Oh.
anything. Like, those are, what are you doing? They need to be in chemistry earlier. I don't know if we start chemistry in 11th grade, but we need to start it much earlier.
Yeah.
Because they need to realize, like, it's like one thing when, like, do you ever see, what was the movie, A Few Good Men? Where, like, giving
Yeah.
them a code red and, like,
Yeah.
but this was malice. This was just negligent
downright.
malice.
Yeah.
Downright.
That's just poison. But I like how they handled it, though. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but like that was, at least she had backing from admin and the district.
Definitely. At that
I know,
point,
but
I mean,
here's the thing:
yeah,
that doesn't
but
always happen. I could see this turning the other way.
you know what? Based on some of these
Unfortunately.
stories, I could too. You know what's so funny? A teacher of mine, she was talking about that on the road. You know, whenever you get on your roster,
Mm-hmm.
and you always get that one kid that just transferred in.
Yeah.
And you hear from the counselors and everything,
Yeah.
what he's done or whatever.
Yeah.
This one particular student had to come to this school
Mm-hmm.
because in his last school, he brought a BB gun to school
Oh crap.
and shot his teacher with the
Ooh.
BB gun. Why would you put him into another school?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And so I was asking my friend, I was like, well, I said, how you? She goes, oh, I'm that kid. I'm trying to just be real nice to him. Like, hey, how you doing today? You good? Everything fine? You know, giving him a hug and patting him down at the same time.
I know, right?
Like, hey, buddy, hey, what's going on there? Patting down. Just patting. It's like TSA as soon as you walk in.
I love it.
And he's at that one thing, the whoosh.
Oh yes, he's on the little.
This is crazy. I see, you can't really blame teachers for quitting. And see, here's the thing too. And we talked about a little bit about this last night. You remember we was talking about how, like, a lot of times when teachers leave the profession, a lot of teachers who are still in the profession like to kind of guilt shame
Yes, they do.
those teachers who leave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's almost like you don't have the same credibility as you used to.
Yep.
It's almost like you can't even speak on matters anymore because you're no longer in the class. That's not true.
No.
Because there's the same thing you went through and the same ups and the same downs. I'm not just
Yeah.
going to say education is all down,
No,
The
I
same
mean there are
ups and
great
downs.
moments, of
Right.
course. Yeah.
I still experience that.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter if I leave today, it does not take away anything that I've done. It doesn't negate anything that I've ever done.
Yeah.
And my contribution to education,
Yeah.
But we're the only profession that does that.
Yeah, you said there are other professions and other. Yeah,
Nobody
right.
else does that.
Yeah.
Nobody. When you're in the service, right?
Yeah.
You're in the armed service. I don't care if it's Marines, Air Force, Army. Once you're out,
Yeah,
you're a veteran.
a veteran for life.
And you're still honorably
Yes.
you're honorably discharged. There's no court martialing.
Right.
Like here that's the problem. There should be an honorable discharge from this, and you're still getting that discounted Applebee's.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. You still get the Applebee's. You still get the Chili's on Veterans Day. You still get that.
Tuesdays at Roadhouse.
So
Yes.
so can I still, like, if I were to leave, I could still have the, like, 2-for-1 Chipotle on teacher appreciation?
You should definitely get
You just
that.
keep your school
You
badge. Just
keep
don't
your
turn that
school
school badge in.
They made me turn it in.
You
No,
should
what
definitely get
happened?
that, because once a teacher, always a teacher, and that's what it is. 'cause
See, but that's a good point. Once
it's
a teacher,
fraternity.
always a teacher.
It's a fraternity. We can still
Yeah.
relate. I don't care if you left the classroom 10 years ago. We can still relate
Yeah.
on these stories and things like that. So teachers, stop doing that. Stop making other teachers feel bad because they're not in the classroom. No, some of these people, like a lot of these stories, they had to get out. They had
to get out.
They probably didn't want to, but they was forced to leave. And so we got to just be a little bit more sensitive to these people. I mean, because think about it. Again, this is the only profession that does that.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, he's not a Crip anymore, but the Crips still respect him.
I love
That's
it.
all I'm saying.
And I'm not saying, and this might be an unpopular opinion. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I think it goes for admin too. Like sometimes admin get a bad rap because they're not in the classroom anymore.
Yeah.
But we have plenty of admin that come out to the comedy shows, and these are like.
I mean, are you saying the teachers who are no longer teachers
So
are
like,
admin now? Or are you saying? what
so
are you
I'm
saying?
like people who are admin when they stop being teachers and become administrators.
Right.
Oh, yeah, go
sometimes
from
they get a
one.
bad rap.
Right.
As to you're not in the
Exactly.
classroom anymore.
Exactly.
But at the same time, like that, like to your point, like if you've served in a classroom,
Right.
You're still a teacher. You get how it gets, and sometimes because we have administrators that come out to the teacher comedy tour.
Right.
You
So
know?
I want to jump in on that, though. And, we're here for tips, right? So I want to say thank you to the admin who still remember what it was like and still govern as if they were in the classroom or have empathy for teachers because we are in the trenches. That's what I'm saying. So I don't mind, okay, you went from teacher and you went to admin. That's
right.
Awesome. I respect that. But please respect the fact that, yes, we know you have a hard job, but remember what it was like to be in the trenches.
Well,
if you can do that, then we're golden.
I was coaching baseball for years, and I think a lot of times when I was playing baseball, I always thought my coach would just stay in the box or get in, but they don't remember what it's like to see a pitch coming in.
Yep.
And that's that same analogy. It's like, I think sometimes they lose sight when you are so far removed, and if you're in your office because you're answering parent calls all the time, you don't get out.
And we know that happens.
You lose touch. So
but you lose.
Go cover a class. We know some principals that actually go in and teach a class or do something just to stay relevant and stay understanding of how times have changed and all this digital technology in the classroom. You got to know how to manage it.
For sure.
A lot of admins who came out of the classroom into that position, a lot of them didn't do that promotion because of they wanted a bump in pay. A lot of them wanted to actually make change.
That's
yes,
right.
They did. That's how they thought they could do a bigger, broader change.
And somewhere Anakin turns into Vader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think those are your admin allies that you come across a lot because they're the ones that still actually get it and they want to be a part and trying to help and, you know what I'm saying, create a better
environment.
Right.
Yes. But when you said the Anakin into Vader, that's funny because a lot of times when we have teachers who go into admin and they forget what it's like to be in a classroom, we usually say they've gone to the dark side. I'm not even kidding. We literally,
that's right. That's what
literally
what we've been saying for
like the last 10
common
years. We say they've gone to the dark side because, oh man, they have forgotten. And it doesn't take that long sometimes. Sometimes they never change over and they're golden. So this is not a blanket statement to all admin. This is just a tip. If you do get there, try to remember what it's like to be in the trenches and make a concerted effort to go back into the trenches. So if you do forget, you're reminding yourself and you can feel what we're feeling because it changes every year.
Now, this one, and Andrea, I have one here that I know you're going to have something to say about. So I want to make sure we get into this one.
Do you? Okay, we got to do it.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, so the lack of a student accountability, which is what we've been talking about this whole time, is exactly why this person quit driving a school bus.
Okay, let's get into it.
We can't do our jobs if the school or these parents won't do something with the kids when they do the things that I've seen them do. And I'm not just talking about good old horseplay on the school bus on the way to school.
Okay.
I'm talking about being hit, having stuff thrown at me while driving, being spit on, being drawn on with permanent markers, having drinks thrown on me, vandalizing the seats and windows, throwing stuff at other cars, and having my life threatened by little kids.
Oh, no.
Who can barely wipe their own.
Oh, my God.
I love the sass, by the way.
Oh, I love it.
But this person said, I've had enough. Can't pay me enough to drive the Devil's Cauldron painted yellow. Let me say that again. He's like, I had enough. Can't pay me enough to drive the Devil's Cauldron painted yellow with today's disrespectful youth. No, ma'am. Snaps over there. And you know this to be, this is something that strikes home close to you because your husband, right?
My husband is a high school bus driver. And he has done all grade levels, and he actually does. I think this year he's doing the special ed driving, and he's very excited to have the younger kids. And he's just so good with special ed kiddos and really any kiddos. But yeah, he wanted to go from the big buses to the smaller buses because those big buses, man, every single day he'd come home. He's like, I wanted to throw my keys on the table. Like he was an hour late, like every day last year because he was writing conduct slips for these children. He had one little guy, little Dakota. He brought candy canes for all the kids, and little Dakota licked his candy cane into a fine point and tried to shank one of the other kids.
I love hearing you say about him doing the special needs bus. My 9-year-old, she's autistic.
Yeah, and he can't wait.
And she loves her bus drivers. We have a bus driver who retired. She still writes and sends postcards to my daughter.
I love it.
We just got one a couple weeks ago. Miss Shea sent another card.
Yeah.
Because of the bond. Because we think of, I grew up in the era of Simpsons.
Yeah.
You think of Otto.
Yeah.
But in reality, these bus drivers, that's what we talk about, paraprofessionals, all these people who are in education. So when I say teachers and I'm at a show, I'm also meaning them because They're teaching. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's said enough.
Teacher
but
support is awesome.
Oh, paras and IAs.
Smile, like
everybody.
that's the first person and the last person that interacts with a kid every day before they go home, because who knows what's going on at home.
Yeah,
and
you
those
never
drivers, like, if anything, if any one of those things was being done to a bus driver, shame on those kids, and something should be done. That's why we have to put, like, people have to ride on buses. We have one principal who on certain routes rides on the bus that day.
Good.
Because you need those kind of
Good for
things.
her.
You need
I'm
that
glad
support.
she's doing that. Somebody needs to support our bus drivers and our aides.
Now, I know your husband is great at what he does. He's a great bus driver. And
he is good.
That bus driver in that story definitely sounds like a great bus driver. But there are some bad bus drivers. I have to make mention of one. I taught in the hood for a very long time. And one bus driver in particular, we was very upset with, and all the teachers used to get mad at her because she would come to school in the morning blasting Little John and the East Side Boys.
Oh, no.
Having the kids all hyped up and crunk.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And they would get off the bus all hyped up. And I mean, like, listen, stop. Please, you must stop.
Yeah.
I mean, play classical music, play Kirk Franklin, play anything but Little John and the East Side Boys. So we didn't like
Baby
her.
Shark,
we didn't
man.
like her. Yeah, baby.
It was something.
We did not like her.
Okay. Well, there are going to be some naughties in every profession. There are going to be some people,
Definitely.
Yeah, but
definitely.
The that is killing me, though. Yeah.
From the windows to the glass halls.
From the windows
to the
the
dodgeballs
halls.
down my... I said dodgeball. I said dodgeballs.
Dodgeballs. I'm bringing the D. All right. Check out episode 2. I'm bringing the D.
All comedians love to do callbacks.
I do.
That's one thing about this new season. Season 4.
You have to.
You got to do callback.
You
And the
got to do
callback
callback.
is referring to a joke you told previous. So this kind of going to keep you guys, on your toes, because you got to go back.
You have to go
When did we
back.
go back? If you just chimed in on
Yes.
episode 3, you're going to have to go back to 1 and 2, because we connect everything. That's what we do as comedians. We tie everything to one long set.
So if you haven't seen episodes 1 and 2, you probably need to go back.
That's what we do as teachers. We connect the dots.
That's
what
true.
we're doing. We're
That's true.
scaffolding.
That's
We're
true.
building a lesson.
So teacher comedians are going to do that automatically.
That's why for me, teaching to comedy wasn't that thing. It's the same thing. You go, you find your punchline, you work back. You have your premise. You know what you're working with. That's a good lesson
Yeah,
plan.
2 drink minimum.
You have another story, right?
I do have another story.
This is a good one.
Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one.
This is what we've been waiting for.
This
Let's
is
go.
what we've been waiting for, y'all. Okay, here we go. I was a first-year sub and got hired as a long-term sub at a high school. I was fresh out of college and was dirt broke.
Mm-hmm.
We got paid once a month, and so I didn't afford lunch in the cafeteria at the time. The adults always got charged more than the students. I mean, you guys have seen that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she said, however, since I'm literally 5 feet tall, you all know I'm short, so I wrote this. Anyway, this is from me. 5 feet tall, only a few years older than most students, I'd wear a backpack and blend right in with the students to be able to get the discount. Okay.
Smart.
And then but here's the thing. So this is where this touched my heart, to be honest. She said I would also grab unopened milks and fruits out of the waste chair, which is where the students would leave items they weren't going to drink or eat. And we have that too. I don't know if y'all have that at your school, but our school has a very high free and reduced lunch population. So the cool thing is a lot of the kids do leave. We have like bins around the cafeteria, and they put like their extra apples or milk or whatever they're not going to eat. And the kids know they can choose from it. And so the kids would leave items, but she says I did that 2 to 3 times a week, and the other 2 days I would eat the wasted food. I stocked in the classroom from the days before. So it worked for a while until some of the students started noticing, and then they snitched on her. Okay. They snitched because she was eating out of the wastebasket and this and that. I was so embarrassed I started just staying in the classroom at lunchtime to skip lunch. But then something happened, guys. And this makes her tear up when she tells the story, and I might as well. The students who called me out felt bad when they saw me in the classroom not eating lunch, so they started going around collecting funds for her.
Oh, that's
so
adorable.
she could have lunch, y'all. Okay, so that's the thing. It makes me, so they all pitched in a few dollars, came to $45. And with this, I was able to afford the cafeteria food. After my contract ended, I went into bartending, and I make 4 times what I made as a sub teacher, but half the number of hours. So this leads me to several talking points. First of all, the pay for subs and the pay for teachers is not adequate.
Definitely.
And
not.
almost every teacher and sub I know has more than one job, more than one extra job, sometimes 2. And we're currently living in a gig economy. So everybody's driving DoorDash and Lyft and Uber in addition to teaching, in addition to taking extra classes so they can move over on the pay scale. I don't know where everyone gets the time.
Right.
But I think that people deserve more than that. And this has actually been happening. I know so many of my friends who, well before this gig economy, well before COVID, they were working at Lowe's. They were working other jobs. Blockbuster.
I will say that that's a heartwarming story. I'm so glad, because that's what we were talking about earlier. You need a group of students that, even though the ones that were bullying, they saw something,
Right.
they said something, they did something about it. That's what we need from our kids today.
Emotional awareness.
Yes.
Intelligence.
And
all
empathy.
that. The fact that she, I want to touch on one point. The fact that she pretended to be a student, right?
Yeah.
And she dressed
kind of
up like a student. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now, I think the kids only snitched on her because she probably gave somebody a bad grade, and they was like, "Oh yeah, I know your secret."
I got
and they
you.
Probably,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody had to make, because how could you get away with that for so long?
Yeah.
With them not saying nothing, kids love to tell.
Kids love to tell.
So what did you do? You know what I'm saying? How did you keep it up that long?
Another thing I wanted to chat about when I read this, another thing is that since we do have a very high free and reduced lunch population at our school, we have a lot of kids with lunch debt. And I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but I had a student named Havante several years ago, and he called me and he said, I know that there are children with student debt. He was a former student, right? And he was like, I've been out of school for like 4 or 5 years. I'd like to pay off the student lunch debt. And he's just a wonderful guy. He's a wonderful dad. You know, he's working normal jobs.
Awesome.
And I thought that was awesome. So I called, I said, whatever he did, I would match it, right? So I'm thinking it's like $100, $200, right? And I called, and it was over $2,000.
I said, "Oh, hey."
And I was
Second
like, so we had to do we did Laughs for Lunches. We actually did a comedy charity show.
Oh.
And we ended up paying off all their lunches, and we have a Havante's fund at school.
That's adorable.
This is to give a shout out to Havante.
Well, listen, Havante, I have student loans. I'm currently in debt. If you could be so generous, Havante, and help your boy out.
Yes.
KC Mack Funny, letter K, letter C, and CK
Venmo.
Funny on Instagram
He
and
has
all
Apple Pay.
platforms.
He has Apple
Havante, holler at your boy. I need you. Well, guys, I think that's a great place to put a pin in it. And this has been another episode of the Teachers Off Duty, the Board Teachers Comedy Tour Takeover, episode 3. And again, man, we just shared with you some shocking stories of teachers quitting, man.
Yeah.
And again, hopefully you guys out there, you're watching, you're listening, you're able to just empathize with a lot that's going on out there, because it is definitely a serious thing that's happened with a lot of educators leaving the profession. So we can do all that we can do by hanging in there, but mostly the best thing we can do is just keep on trying our best to keep you guys laughing, to keep you guys motivated and inspired to stay in the classrooms. So we're happy to be a part of that with the Board Teachers Comedy Tour.
Heck yeah.
And again, if you have not been to a Board Teachers Comedy Tour
You better go.
you definitely need to stop by. We're going to break the cities up because, like I said, we got a lot of cities coming up in September. So real quick before we get up out of here and give those cities, tell them where they can find you.
Okay, y'all, on Instagram, I'm at Caspari Land. CASP as in Paul, ARI Land, Caspari Land. And then on TikTok, it's Caspari Land Comedy.
And while you're teaching them to find X, come find the funny at Jay Yoder Comedy. That's Jay Yoder Comedy.
Yeah.
All the platforms.
Just like Havante will be following me very soon, I need everybody else to follow me. Casey Mack Funny, letter K, letter C, MACK Funny on all platforms. And again, now back to the tour. Like I was telling you guys, I promise you, if I say it, I'm going to deliver it. Our cities that we are going to be coming to. Listen up. Albuquerque, New Mexico, Tucson, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and Anaheim, California. Where else, Jay?
Saginaw, Michigan, Cincinnati, Ohio, Skokie, Illinois, and Bloomington, Illinois. Andrea?
Riverside, Iowa, Northwood, Iowa, Rockford, Illinois, and St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis. Again, man, everybody, we thank you so much for following the podcast. Remember, you can follow the podcast at Teachers Off Duty, and that's on all platforms. You can also follow Board Teachers on all platforms. And remember, if you guys want that behind the scenes footage, like, listen, this is something special we're doing. This is going above and beyond just by giving you content. If you want that special access to that exclusive content, which is going to showcase like us
eating Five Guys.
Eating Five Guys, behind the scenes games we're going to be playing, green room. I mean, this is the stuff that happens behind the scenes on the comedy tour, things that you only get access to if you follow the Teachers Off Duty Premium on Supercast. So again, we can't wait to see you guys at a show.
Come on out.
Come see us. Make it a teacher bestie night.
Yeah, get those tickets.